Rockers, we're back, and you're back, and this is MPJ, Musical People and Journeys, new rock album review show where we are reviewing all the latest rock album releases from February, because it's taken us a month to listen to them all, and I could not do this without my amazing colleagues and panellists. Welcome to Trish White, to Paul Matthews, and to David Green. Welcome, everybody.
Hello.
Right, so the format of the show is that we are reviewing albums, and then once we've reviewed them all, we'll produce a show voting on our results and seeing if these albums get into our Hall of Fame and where they end up in a all-time list and albums of the year, etc, etc, etc. Tune in to our results show. And if you do like what you hear, please hit that like and subscribe button. Tune into the channel. We're bringing you like 12 to 16 albums a month, people. I mean, what more could you want? So today we are reviewing the Snuts and their album Millennials. Now, the Struts are a returning band. Their album
Snuts.
Burn the Empire, which we reviewed last year, did so well. It did super well. It's in the top 100 of our albums. Will this follow-up album, which is obviously within about a year of the previous album, I think what we did last year is the Snuts released it in the end of the previous year, and we kind of missed it out, and then we reviewed it at the beginning of about this time last year. I think in January we reviewed it. So, who are the Snuts? They are a Scottish indie rock band formed in 2015. So, only 9 years. Originating from West Lothian, Scotland, they have performed across the United Kingdom and Ireland. The band consists of Jack Cochran, Joe McGillivray, Callum 29 Wilson, and Jordan Jocko McKay, and was formed when members were in school. Wilson, McKay, etc. went to primary school with each other, and they met with Cochran at secondary school. Wilson has said, "We've only really played music together, so I can't really imagine it any other way. They've been influenced by the likes of the Libertines and Arctic Monkeys and Scottish dead culture growing up, and they've also said that one of the biggest inspirations is not to sound exactly like everyone else." Before going full-time as a band, Cochran was a joiner, Wilson was a slater, McKay was a mechanic, a McCavery, or McGillivray got qualifications as stonemason. So, working class band. Let's start with the most working class person I know. Trish White, you're a hard-working person. Of dubious, I would say dubious class because I'm from that background as well. Trish, what do you reckon? Did you enjoy the Snuts Millennials?
Well, it's not a hidden fact that I've not been a fan of the Snuts' previous albums. So with this album changed my perception. Well, with Gloria, the opening track, I was pleasantly surprised. Was I about to be lulled into a full sense of listening? Can't believe I'm going to say this, but no, I wasn't. This album had me swaying along with tracks like Yo-Yo, Millionaires. My favourite track was NPC. This really was a pleasant surprise in which I have to eat humble pie and say well done to the Snuts, as this is a catchy feel-good album that I've downloaded as a keeper, and I'm actually going to see them live at the end of the year in Bournemouth.
Ooh, Paul, I know you were a fan of the Snuts, and I think you actually you voted quite well for Burn the Empire. Was this follow-up to your satisfaction, my friend?
So which you want, the long version or the short version?
The long version, of course. The long version.
Okay.
The longer we hear your dulcet tones, the better.
Okay, so yes, I simply loved the Snuts' previous album, with the Knuckles track being one of the highlights for me for 2022. I'm not sure if Michael David Rosenberg, more widely known as Passenger, sings on the opening track Gloria, but it sure sounds like him, and I don't really know if it's needed. It also kind of points to what to expect for the rest of the album, and for me it was like an upbeat pop folk version of the Snuts verbalizing about the Millennials. Well, at least in my opinion, the Snuts are clearly in their comfort zone here, and in a way they feel as if they're just going through the motions. That's not to say the album is bargain bin. It is just subpar, and it's just not as captivating and energetic as the Burn the Empire album. And let's face it, the band are capable of creating so much more.
Oh, Dave, how about you?
Well, in a weird way, I'm kind of in agreement with both Trish and Paul. When the album started, I really, really enjoyed it, and it's also, I'm pleasantly surprised by this, but unfortunately, there are just too many moments in there as well where it just sort of, I was just like, no, I don't really care for that. So, as I say, while I really enjoyed, early songs, as I say, like Gloria, Millennials, really, really enjoyed those. But as I said, there were other songs in there that I just lost interest in. They weren't necessarily almost like they were songs that I'd skip. They were songs that made me want to turn the album off. They were just something about them that just sort of grinded against me, and it was just like, nah. I don't know if I reviewed the previous one or not, actually. I was just having a look to see what the title of the previous one was when you first mentioned it, because I'm like, I can't remember if I reviewed that or not. The name's familiar, so I've definitely heard of the band before. But I can't remember if I reviewed the previous one. But yeah, there's a lot of promise here, but ultimately for me, they just don't deliver because there's too many moments that just maybe lose interest completely.
Yeah, you miserable pair of gits. What a miserable pair of sausages you two are. Look, I love my indie rock, I really do. I love it when it's cool, it's foot tapping, it's easy going, and I don't have to work too hard on it. And the Snuts, for me, this album, it tick all the boxes. It's not perfect, and I agree, it sometimes does go a little too poppy in places, but the energy of the album is absolutely terrific. I could listen to this again, put it on loop. I don't think it's as good as Burn the Empire, because I agree, Knuckles and Burn the Empire, there was a bit more edge to Burn the Empire, but I thoroughly enjoyed the album. It was fun, it was uplifting, it was fun, it just ticked all my boxes for having a really just cool, easygoing listening, which is what sometimes you need. We listen to some kind of heavy, dark shit, and some in your face, smash it in your face, metalcore, all sorts of stuff as well. So I like that variation in it as well. And there's a theme of this month of going through this sort of music, and definitely enjoyed this album. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was really uplifting, really easygoing. Loved the Gloria. Love Millennials, I thought it kept. I think what happened is that it kept up that sort of energy right through the album. It just on times, and I kind of get it why you may be turned off from it, because it does kind of go a little poppy on times, which I think is a slightly away to what their previous stuff that they've done. And maybe they're trying to make themselves a little bit more commercial. Maybe that's pressure from the record label or whatever. But I enjoyed it. I really loved it. I thought it was a terrific album. So there we go. So, but what do you think out there? Please hit the like and subscribe button. Leave your comments. Do you agree with me and Trish? Do you agree with the miserable gits that are Paul and Dave and have no love in their hearts and souls?
Before you finish, Nigel, I just got to say, me and David are definitely in the rock camp, and you are definitely going into the pop.
I like a bit of everything, Paul. I like a bit of rock pop. There's nothing
this
wrong
is
with a bit of rock pop, as long as it's rock.
This is a rock show, isn't it?
As long as it's not punk pop.
Well, as long as it's got rock in there, Paul. As long as it's got rock in there, then I'm happy. So, and this definitely had rock in there. But it does verge on the back. But don't forget, Paul, I don't know this because I only go by the fact that they are a rock band. If they end up, I decide to review it and it turns out to be a total pop album, then that's us. To bring the message to the masses that it's not a rock album but a pop album, because that's the way we roll. Any other comebacks to that? No. What do our audience think out there?
Is it a rock album or not debate is not going to show it this month at all.
Well, let's find out. Please leave your comments if you agree or disagree. Please like and subscribe our channel, and please tune in for the next episode. For now, thank you to David Green, thank you to Trish White, thank you to Paul Matthews, and this is us, Musical People on a Journey, signing out. Goodbye for now.
Bye.
Bye.